I'd like to welcome everybody. Oh, we turn this on first. That might work. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to our city council meeting. Tonight's invocation will be given by Pastor Ricky Chambers, the Community Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day. We thank you for the breath in our lungs and that you're mindful of us and you hear our prayers. We come to you this evening humbly lifting up our community to you. We ask for your grace and your mercy to abound in and among us. We thank you for the city. Thank you for your faithfulness to us through the past, and we trust you for the future. So God, be with each council member here, our mayor, our city manager, our city staff, our police chief, our fire chief. Thank you for Dan Perkins, Lord, and his service to this community and the great work he's done keeping this place safe. We pray you bless him in his next venture too. Thank you for appointing each one and choosing each one to in their different positions in the city, Lord, to lead our city well. So, Lord, we're just blessed with great leaders here. So continue to strengthen them, give them discernment to lead wisely, bless their families, and guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what you would like us to do, what would benefit the city and those who live and work around our beloved city of Kingsburg. Thank you for the CERT team and their heart to serve that we get to see today. And may Kingsburg always be a place, Lord, where people seek to serve rather than to be served, and to give rather than to take. And we praise you, and we thank you for the example Christ set for us in this. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ricky. Today is Wednesday, March 6, 2024. I'd like to call this city council meeting to order. Carol, would you please take roll call?
Councilmember Silva.
Present.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Palomar.
Here.
And Mayor Pascal Jr. has agreed to be present.
Thank you, Carol. Next, we'll approve the agenda. Action by council to approve the agenda or to make modifications. Items that can be added to the agenda is constrained by state law. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Thank you. Motion carries. Next on our agenda, we have presentations. Tonight we have Community Emergency Response Team CERT. Member swearing in by Fire Chief Daniel Perkins. Please come up, Chief.
Oh, there we go. Green light. It's on. Good evening, members of the council, members of the public attending this evening. I am the fire chief of the city of Kingsburg for the next 10 to 11 days. And one of the last things I'd like to do is present to you your newest group of community emergency response team members. And maybe just take a little bit of time to explain what this team is so that it brings a little context to why this is so important to us here. Just as Pastor had mentioned, it's our willingness to serve both our community and our fellow man or woman next to us that really has helped these folks reach out to the community and say, I want to be part of that. In that spirit, we've established the Community Emergency Response Team. I think a couple people that I'd like to recognize that are here tonight, as well as the people who are getting sworn in. If I could have Linda Hernandez come up here really quick, as well as Rob Gong. In particular, these two individuals have been instrumental with your Community Emergency Response Team. Rob, as a longstanding member of the community, many of you recognize him in so many different hats, and we've been really lucky over this last 4 years to work together on the Community Emergency Response Team. Melinda, bringing her on about the same time period, she actually brought the idea from Sanger, the city of Sanger, and then that idea kind of blossomed into what it was. We started with a very fledgling group, some of the original CERT members, one of them taking pictures right now here along with her husband are part of that original group. There's another original member in the back. a couple more original members in the back. It started off with 13 people, and then it's gone and waxed and waned a little bit. But at each one of our community events where these individuals come out and help us with our community risk reduction efforts, they are there to present the material to the public, show them that they can be part of helping their community, because many people just don't know how to help. CERT allows that to happen. With Rolinda Hernandez's efforts, she's been able to garner 2 back-to-back Listos California grants for about just under $30,000 now for the last 2 years, which has helped our CERT team get the equipment that they've needed, get the shirts, the hats, the support that's needed for the materials, and now we're able to help in that respect. So tonight, after these next 6 individuals are sworn in, our team will now be a full complement of 20 CERT members. So I think that's a rather large accomplishment for a community that is 12,000 plus. The city of Fresno has had a CERT team for well over 15 years. Their current complement of people matches ours. So I think that's a testament to the willingness of the people in the community to volunteer. So thank you again, all CERT members and the people that have been instrumental in making this happen. Thank you. I'd like to call the following people up to be sworn in as CERT members for the City of Kingsburg Fire Department. Alejandra Lopez, if you could come to the front. Angela Figueroa, we'll have you go over to the side here over by Rolinda. Francie Ramirez. Stephanie Huerta. Trevor Nelson. And Tyler Clifton. Now, all of these members have completed the 24-hour official Community Emergency Response Team curriculum through FEMA. So they are actual disaster service workers, which is why they stand in front of you tonight to take that oath of office in the disaster service worker position. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you raise your right hand, and I'm going to have you state your name when it starts, so it's going to be a confusion there, and then repeat after me, okay? So I state your names. There we go. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of the state Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. You can lower your right hands. You now are officially sworn in as Community Emergency Response Team members for the City of Kingsburg. If you want, the City Council would like to take some pictures with you guys. If you back up into the little area right behind you, they'll come in and take pictures with you. There we go. I'll do one more. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. Congratulations. 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 And I actually have your certificates here too, so. Alejandro Lopez. Angela Figueroa. Francie Ramirez. There you go. I probably should have brought this up the first time. Stephanie Huerta. Thank you. Trevor Nelson. There you go, sir. And, all right, one last round of applause. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Chief Perkins. Next on our agenda, we have public comment. This is time for any citizen to come forward and address the City Council on any issue within its jurisdiction that is not listed on the agenda. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker. Do we have anybody in our chamber tonight that would like to address our City Council?
I would. Hi.
Yeah, please come on up and just state your name.
Hi, my name is Carmen Santamaria.
Are you a resident of Kingsburg?
I am. I live
Okay.
on 14th Avenue.
Thank you.
One of my concerns, I have lived in my current address for almost 2 years now. And right on the corner, I believe it is Ventura and 14th. The cross street, I believe, leads straight into Save Mart from the high school. And I have seen multiple accidents there in my short time of living there. One was a go-kart, one was with a person on a bicycle, and the other was with another vehicle. That's concerning to me because I know the speed down that road is quite fast. A lot of people travel down that road quite quickly. And I know that it's like a fairway, but I was wondering if there's any way to possibly either put up a speed limit sign or get people to travel a little less quickly because there are children that play in the front yards at home, or there's animals. I've lost my own personal pet to a car because we just moved in and he was a little naughty dog, but he ran out and got hit and he passed, and that broke my heart. But I'm sure other people have lost pets, and I've seen another dog been hit on that road and killed and just left on the side of the road. And I just wanted to know if there's anything that we can do to put either a stop sign on, I live between Tulare and Ventura, I believe that is. If there's one way we can put it on either furthest from 2 streets down from the stop sign that's currently there at the end, or a speed limit sign, anything at all. That's all I have, really.
Okay, we're not allowed to comment, but we'll bring it up to staff, yes. Try and get a stop sign there. I mean, at least a speed sign. So
Something.
Yes,
Something.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your concern and public comment.
Thank you.
Anybody else in our chamber like to address our City Council on public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Next, we have consent calendar. Items considered routine in nature are to be placed on consent calendar. They will be considered as one item and voted upon in one vote unless individual consideration is requested. Each vote in favor of consent calendar is considered and recorded as a separate affirmative vote in favor of each action listed. Approval of the consent calendar items include recital readings, ordinances by titles only, and adoption of recommended actions contained in staff reports. Tonight we have 5.1 through 5.6. Does any council member like to pull a consent calendar item?
No.
No? Anybody in our chamber tonight like to pull a consent calendar item? Seeing none, okay. Then can I get a motion, please, to approve consent calendar?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have regular calendar. 6.1, drone inspection program update. Staff report by building official A.J. O'Connell. Presentation by A.J. O'Connell.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. A.J. O'Connell, building official. On June 21st, 2023, the mayor and city council unanimously approved the creation of a drone inspection program for the building division. Tonight, I am pleased to come back before you and give an update on the program's implementation and current operations. As I alluded to last month when I presented the building division update, the drone inspection program has been an unmitigated success. A very quick background: an unmanned aircraft system, or drone, is defined as an aircraft that is operated without the possibility of direct intervention from within or on the aircraft itself. With the adoption of the drone inspection program last June, the city of Kingsburg joins an ever-increasing number of services and industries that are actively operating drones for a variety of uses. According to the FAA, there are approximately 1.5 million drones being used for both commercial and recreational purposes within the United States. Shortly after obtaining approval from the mayor and city council for the use of drones, city staff began the selection process of an aircraft that not only met the needs of the building staff, but also adhered to the self-limiting provisions of the program. Working with the regional distributor for the leading drone manufacturer out of San Diego, staff selected the DJI Mavic 3 Pro as the primary aircraft for the program. The exceptional quality, features, and workmanship of the Mavic 3 Pro meant that the aircraft was significantly more expensive than the hobbyist drones a lot of us use for recreational use. As indicated in the program proposal, the funds for the purchase of the drone would come from already identified grant monies that would not impact the general fund. Last March, the city of Kingsburg was awarded a $40,000 grant from the California Energy Commission to adopt and implement an online automated permitting software. These funds came from a state appropriated overall $20 million program to help cities and counties comply with newly enacted state mandates to streamline permitting for certain residential solar projects. In August, the city formally launched the Solar App Plus program in conjunction with the National Renewable Energy Lab in Colorado. This program fulfills the state mandate, and since it is backed by the United States Department of Energy, it is free for the city to use. As a result, the city was able to retain the $40,000 grant for other purposes. During the rollout of Solar App Plus, building division staff realized that certain building code compliance elements for solar installations that had originally been substantiated through a plan check were now required to be verified by inspectors in the field. This shifting of responsibility now required inspection staff to put themselves in hazardous situations to ensure installations were done safely and to code. Avoiding these situations was the primary reason for the mayor and council to adopt the drone inspection program. Thus, in consultation with the California Energy Commission, the city was authorized to purchase the Mavic 3 Pro in whole using a portion of the $40,000 allocated in grant funding. This meant that the purchase of the drone did not have any effect on the city's general fund or budget. The city received the drone on August 6th, and staff quickly dubbed the aircraft Dala Force One. After 2 training flights, the first use of the drone for building inspections was on August 9th for a single-family residential roof sheathing inspection. As of January 22nd of this year, Dala Force One has flown 111 separate times with a cumulative flight time of nearly 20 hours. Solar finals were the most common inspection that the drone was used, accounting for nearly 31% of the total flights done. I want to emphasize, no flights were conducted for any code enforcement efforts within the city of Kingsburg. A key concern brought up by the mayor and city council during the adoption of the program was protecting the privacy of the public during the use of the drone. It was for this reason why the building division provided an opt-out option for permit applicants who chose not to allow the use of drones for their respective project. Out of a total of 123 permit applications submitted since the adoption date where the scope of work was eligible for the drone, the building division has received 1 verified opt-out. This represents a less than 1% opt-out rate. Speaking in anecdotal terms, this staggeringly low rate is justified out in the field. As part of the program, building division staff is required to notify the owner of the property that the drone is to be used before the inspection. More often than not, this notification step is received with curiosity and eagerness. On numerous occasions, I have found that homeowners have joined me while I fly the drone, observing the controller with me, viewing the same construction elements that I am. This is a great opportunity for us staff to educate the public on the importance of building codes and what exactly we look for when an inspection is requested. The effectiveness of the drone can be shown in this photograph. This photo was from the most recent solar final inspection requested by the contractor for the T-Mobile rooftop solar project. The photo was taken from approximately 400 feet above ground level. This particular solar array encompasses more than 1,300 panels, generating nearly 750 kilowatts of electricity. Upon reaching this altitude, inspection staff observed that the code required fire pathways on the top and left side of the array were obstructed. Here and here. This code violation can inhibit effective fire suppression efforts on the roof should the need ever arise. This photo was taken using the drone's onboard camera and wirelessly transmitted to the operator's position safely on the ground, which was adjacent to the structure. The contractor was able to view the violation alongside the inspector, thus negating the need for accessing the roof for this particular inspection. As you can see, the effectiveness of this drone as an inspection tool is unquestionable. But the real message of this update is safety. Of the 111 flights undertaken by the Dala Force One, it represents 111 times when a city staff member did not have to expose themselves to a hazardous situation. It represents 111 instances of a staff staying off of roofs and elevated surfaces and keeping their feet on the ground. In conclusion, I want to thank the mayor and city council for approving this program. As I alluded to at the last meeting, I performed 80% of the building inspections last year as your building official, and having this tool is invaluable in helping keep me safe. Your decision to approve this program shows me, a member of staff, that my safety is a priority, and I thank you for that. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions from council?
I have one. Ooh, sorry. I have one, AJ. What was, I can't see from 400 feet here, but what was the obstruction that was?
Right there it is.
Your mouse. Okay. I think I might be able to zoom in here a little bit. Yeah. The California Fire Code on rooftop solar arrays, on anything but single-family residential, requires pathways of certain width and certain length. And the idea is that we want to make sure that, again, if there is to be a fire that occurs, that firefighters, fire apparatus have plenty of room to be able to move on the roof to be able to fight the fire, either through roof venting or shutting off equipment. So when we took the drone up to this altitude, we were able to, first off, identify a 6-foot pathway here and a 6-foot pathway here. And these 6-foot pathways have to occur every 150 feet of array space. 150, 150. Additionally, according to the fire code, a minimum 6-foot wide path needs to surround the perimeter of the fire array. 6 feet here, 6 feet here. You may think 6 feet here. Well, unfortunately, for some reason, there is some sort of conduit that was here. Now, that's an obstruction. The last thing we want to have happen is a firefighter having to go up there and tripping. That's not good. So we were able to identify this, again, from 400 feet, and then we were able then to zoom in and get a little bit closer of a look of what exactly is that.
Okay, I just had one other comment. So I appreciate the citizens in the city. I mean, it goes to like the trust that the citizens have in city staff. and for only one person to opt out is a very small percentage. But it just goes to reiterate the importance that we need to be using the drone in a manner that's within the scope of what we approved, right? So I want to applaud you, and I appreciate that you using it in the way that you're using it, and for the projects that we need to get done. I would also like to ask you, do you see that this drone is equipped for what you need to accomplish here in the city? Or is this drone not, we need to maybe look at updating the drone on the next purchase to maybe a better camera that has better angles or whatever? I don't know all the technology when it comes to drone, but is this drone good enough for what you use it for today?
I get to bring props. So I'll go ahead and I'll kind of take you through what the aircraft does, the capabilities, and it should be able to answer your question. So this is Dollar Force One. It's a little shy, so bear with it. The Dollar Force One has a cinematic grade camera. They use this in Hollywood. The reason that we wanted to purchase this particular drone is at the time, and even still arguably 8 months after the adoption of the program, this is the best commercially available drone that is on the market. This is, if you had the funds and you had the licensing to be able to go, you could get this off the shelf. It has obstacle avoidance sensors here, 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 and here. It also has top optical sensors here. These are obstacle avoidance sensors. So what it allows us to do is it allows us to automatically hover very close to the surfaces without actually potentially touching the surface of it. It'll automatically hover. But more importantly, what it does is this little doohickey right here. This is a laser. And what it does is it shoots straight down, and it allows for the gimbal mechanism to stay stable if there's less than ideal conditions. This picture was taken, I believe, last Thursday afternoon. It was a little breezy. We had no problem doing it. It's able to hover with the laser that shoots directly down. And what it also does is through the GPS, it'll allow a full 90-degree tilt of the camera so we can get right over the top of a project and be able to look directly down over the top of it. But also, because of the capabilities, we can sometimes move the camera angle and move the angle of the drone to be able to see under solar arrays or to be able to get underneath an eave to be able to see roof flashing. This is an incredible piece of technology. It does everything that we need it to do. I think it's important to note in the recommendation in your staff report, Counselor, after the approval of the program, we were contacted by a number of different building divisions across the country wanting to essentially emulate and copy what our program was. And I was asked on every single inquiry, well, do you use it for code enforcement? Can you use it for code enforcement? We want to use it for code enforcement. Nope, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. There are some cities that actually have adopted drone usage for code enforcement activities. I'm not sold on that being a legitimate method. I think that there's some questions about possible Fourth Amendment violations. That's going to have to be handled at a level that's much higher than you or me. We have a very good thing going right now with the drone program. It's effective. It keeps us safe. We've got great buy-in from the community. We don't need to do it as code enforcement. And to be honest with you, I because of that, of what I said with the other cities, I wouldn't want us to do it. I think that it's just not within the nexus of what we want to do here.
Any other questions? I have a question, AJ. So you said that picture was taken last Thursday.
Yes.
So what is T-Mobile, or what was the contractor doing? They haven't fixed it yet, right? It's only been a week? What are they
We're
gonna
working
do?
on it. We're working on it. I suggested to them that they move the conduit, but they've come up with a unique solution that may work. We're gonna, obviously look into it. At the end of the day, really what it boils down to is, making sure that our fire personnel and our apparatus can get up there. That is the most important thing. The contractor recognizes that. T-Mobile recognizes that, and they're gonna make it work.
They'll figure it out.
They're gonna figure it out. Just judging by the size of this project and the overall workmanship of it, this is a good contractor, and it's T-Mobile. They're gonna do it right.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, I know we could. I know, me too. Okay, well, thank you for the update, AJ.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, yeah. And keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Here. We didn't fly today, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Next on our agenda, we have 6.2, fiscal year 2024 capital improvement project update and fiscal year 2025 introduction. Staff report by City Manager Alex Henderson, presentation by City Manager Alex Henderson.
I feel a little unprepared. I don't have any props or
Right.
anything that flies or takes pictures, but I'll do my best. Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, members of council, this item, as part of our regular budgeting process, it's intended to provide an update regarding our current capital improvement project, as well as a refresher for project development and recommendations for the upcoming year. Each year, as part of our regular budget, staff and council consider larger expenditures, those over $5,000, which get programmed into the city's capital improvement budget. Included in your packet this evening is a spreadsheet showing fiscal year 24 status updates, and as well as the council adopted policy that outlines the processes for determining CIP projects, how to prioritize the necessary work, and ultimately include the CIP program as part of the city's annual budget adoption. The current policy lists 6 steps to help guide project development, cost estimates, and prioritization for consideration. As the policy outlines, choosing projects is not always objective. For example, decisions regarding road work considers more than just an objective rating of road condition. Other factors like vehicle miles traveled, street classification of arterial, collector, or minor are also taken into account when determining which projects to recommend for budgeting. Council members may wish to direct staff to research projects for the upcoming year and can also provide input throughout the budgeting process over the next few months. Same for members of the public who may also provide input on preferred projects. Tonight I'm just going to give a brief update on, highlight a few of the projects that we have for fiscal year 24. Carol, can you just click on that item, 6.2, and then just scroll down to the spreadsheet. It should be, yeah, right there. You can make that a little bigger so folks can see. So I'll just cover a few of them, but I'm certainly happy to answer any questions if there are particular line items that council or the public have questions on. We completed our strategic plan update earlier this year. That was budgeted for this year. We have a couple of programs which we include in this. They're ongoing incentive programs, so our grant program for the facade alley, as well as our forgivable loan program. So we have a couple of those that are ongoing as we speak. We budgeted for some improvements to this building, or this room that we're sitting in right now, including the microphones, as well as painting and just refreshing this area. We are in the process, council approved the general plan update, so there's a portion of that. It's an 18-month process, but a portion of that will occur this year and then over the next probably 2 fiscal years. Some public works projects, sidewalk installations that have been completed on 12th Avenue as well as 18th Avenue. There's some road repair work. Some of the work has been done, and some of that is scheduled for summer of this year, so most of those will be out to bid soon, but they get completed during construction season, which is often summertime. Some public safety items that are on there through Measure E, both for police and fire. The big challenge that we've had specifically with police is getting new vehicles. So we've had hybrid vehicles, the Explorers, most of them, all of them we have in our fleet right now are hybrid. We've had several of them on order for think going on 3 years. We got notified by Ford about a month ago that they're not going to build the hybrids, just not going to do it. So we have to buy all gas vehicles. That does have an impact on our budget because we had 5 $20,000 grants from the Air Pollution Control District to help offset the cost of those vehicles that we can no longer take advantage of because they're not hybrids anymore. So we will have to fully fund those when they are actually built and we're able to receive them. A couple other improvements on, that are going on at the pool as well. The muriatic acid tanks, CO2 tanks, CO2 tanks were installed to replace the muriatic acid, which provides long-term maintenance savings. That's been completed, and then some shade structure improvements are going to happen in the next month or so. And then, as well as we've done some hydrant replacements that were pre-planned, some water billing software update, and then we're updating flow meters. That project is in process as well at wells 9, 10, 12, 14, and 16. So that concludes my just brief overview of projects underway. Certainly I didn't cover all of them. Happy to answer any questions, both on this year's projects as well as any potential projects for the coming year or the process that we currently use in order to prioritize those projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Questions from council?
I have one, Alex. I know these grants are super specific, but there's no way to pivot that grant money from, say, police to like public works vehicles.
So we've been talking about that a little bit because there is a wait list with the Air Pollution Control District in terms of getting essentially in line now if you started. So we've been having some of those conversations with the Air Pollution Control District about if we can essentially reprogram what we already had for, like for example, the building department, code enforcement department needs probably a replacement vehicle for their use. The one that we have now is sort of past the point, or one of the ones that we have now is past the point of putting additional funds into. So we're talking about that, trying to still take advantage of that, and so we haven't gotten a firm answer yet from the Air District, but we are pressing on them.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions? Any questions from comments from the public or questions from the public on this agenda item? No? Okay. Thank you, Alex. Moving on, 6.3. City Engineer Project Progress Report by City Engineer Dave Peters. Presentation by Dave Peters.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. Just want to give you an update on some of the projects that we're working on, the engineering and public works projects. I won't hit every one, but I'll just kind of hit the high points. Currently planning a project over off of Smith Street behind Model Drug to redo that parking lot similar to the other downtown parking lots that we did last year. We're partnering with FCRTA. So the project will include solar and electric vehicle chargers as well. So we've recently submitted a grant application to help fund that project. So we're just waiting to hear back from that, and then we'll hopefully get to move forward with that project. Some of our streets projects that Alex mentioned, going to repave 15th, 16th, and 17th between Stroud and Clipper, and also repave Mariposa Street from 6th to 10th. And I'll also throw in our Draper Street bike lanes and pavement rehab projects. So working on completing the bid packages for all of those, sending those out, and then as Alex stated, those will be done over the summertime. The Laurel Street Dog Park project is nearly complete with the design and the construction documents. Looking to put that out to bid later this month. Our rectangular rapid flashing beacon project on 201 is in construction finally, so you may have seen that. Currently they're working on reconstructing curb ramps and building the pole foundations. The majority of the equipment has been delivered to the city. We're still waiting on the poles, so we expect to have that project completed by the end of May. We're also working on a project for various improvements or park improvements at various park sites. So we kind of lumped it into one big project to do our replacement of the wood chips with the poured in place rubber around all the play structures at Memorial, Heritage, Downtown Park. The project also includes the restroom at Memorial Park, and doing some modifications to the shade structure over the play equipment at Athwal Park. So work at almost all of our parks, one big package, and we're completing that, getting ready to put that out to bid for to complete work in the early summer. Senior Center Kitchen, we've been working on that for a while. We have completed the design. It's been reviewed by our building official. I think we're ready to issue a permit. Unfortunately, we advertised for bids and did not receive any bids yesterday when we were hoping to. So we did have some confirmed bidders. They just didn't follow through and actually submit the bid. So we're looking at alternate ways to identify some contractors and move forward. The public contract code does give you some options when you don't get any bids after you publicly advertise. So we're hoping to identify a contractor and develop a plan and move forward with that quickly. You just recently approved the final map for Phase 4 of the Kings Estates. That's the West Star project north of Cam. So they're continuing construction on that, and there's various other development projects, a couple of gas stations, some apartments, some developments in the business park that I listed in the report that are all in various stages of plan check and should be beginning construction on those projects soon. I wanted to highlight a project that I think I've worked on for over 10 years. It's been on my reports before, and I think I've skipped over in the past, but just wanted to mention it. It's the PG&E Rule 28 undergrounding project. So it's that project is cities get, agencies get allocated certain amount of funds from PG&E to underground existing overhead lines. It's called the Rule 28 program. They're sunsetting the program, so they're basically getting rid of it. But we have had funds in that program. We've been working on that project. The timeline is entirely driven by PG&E. We recently had a meeting with them. They've assured us our funds are still there, even though the program is being sunsetted, and our project has been identified as one of the projects they want to complete. They're not going to try to complete all of the projects that are on their list, but we've been told our project is one that they are going to try to complete as the project sunsets. So just wanted to point that out. Eventually we will underground the overhead lines in front of Roosevelt School from essentially Draper all the way down to Roosevelt, which is, I think, the first street south of Kern. So taking all those ugly overhead lines and putting them underground. And then we're developing our road safety plan, local road safety plan, which will identify all of our safety hot spots throughout town, and develop some potential projects to resolve those problem areas, and that will help us with future grants. So that's a brief overview. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from council?
I have a couple. The restrooms at Memorial Park.
Yes.
Do we anticipate they'll be done before the next school year?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned the senior center kitchen remodel. Given this recent setback, when do you think possibly construction will start there?
We just found yesterday was when we were disappointed and when we didn't receive any bids. So we're kind of developing the plan as we speak. But I have had some conversations with contractors. I need to kind of formulate my plan and get someone to approve it. And then if all of that goes well, hopefully within the next month, we can get somebody started. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
I have a couple
Go ahead,
questions.
Dave.
Mr. Peters, can you kind of speculate as to why there were no bidders on that project? Is it too small? Is it too big? Is it?
I would just
bad
say
timing?
generally the architectural / building type projects, public agency projects, it's not just Kingsburg, I've seen it in other jurisdictions as well, don't go quite as smoothly as our public works projects because, contractors that do road work and underground utilities, they're used to working for cities, they're used to paying prevailing wage, they're used to dealing with the Department of Industrial Relations and all the things that go with that. And, the majority of the architectural work, building work is done privately. So architects and contractors that do that kind of work don't typically do that work for public agencies. There's just not as much. It's just a small percentage of the total amount of work within that field. And so, I think some contractors they would prefer to I'm going to do the private work and I don't have to worry about all these other government requirements. So I think that is part of it. One of the things we are doing is reaching out to the contractors who pulled the plans, and particularly the contractor who was a confirmed bidder who didn't bid, and trying to answer that question.
Okay,
So, yeah.
that's fair. And then when it comes to the 201 project, you said that one should be completed, the sidewalks should be completed by May? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Total project?
I'm hoping by the end of May we're done with that project. Yeah.
Okay, but the traffic realignment should be, that should go back to normal before that, you
Yeah,
think?
it's going to be, there's like a lot of disruption.
Right.
And then it'll kind of just, it'll go back down to a normal level well before the project's completed.
Okay.
So yeah, so a lot of the work right now is in the road. So it's the curb ramps, there's a lot of impacts on the shoulder, a lot of traffic control. Once all that work's done, the majority of the work will be behind the curb on, out of the roadway itself, so there won't be as much traffic disruption.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have a question, Dave, on the planning projects.
Yeah.
Truck Center on Cam Avenue and west of State Route 99. Where exactly is that? Is that
So-
by the Truck Center?
Yeah, so it's 2 parcels west of the Kingsburg Truck Center. So this is like a dispatch, so it's like a trucking company. So they're gonna develop a yard, they'll park trucks there. I think they're gonna do real minor type maintenance, oil changes, maybe change tires, something like that. No, no engine overhauls or anything like that. And then they'll have an actual building where dispatchers work. So it's, it's essentially like a truck dispatch type center. So it's been approved, and I've seen the plans once, and I'm waiting to get them back again, but once those get approved, then they'll actually move into construction. We
They
met
should-
with them a couple weeks ago. They're trying to move quickly.
That's west of the Kingsburg Truck Center?
It is west of the Kingsburg Truck Center. Yeah,
Okay.
2 parcels west. I think there's a trucking kind of business there now, but it's not that one. It's the vacant parcel west
Right,
of
oh,
that.
I don't, okay. And then Pet Resort?
Yeah, so that project just got site plan approval from the planning department. It's directly east of what used to be the old Caltrans building in the business park on the north end. I think it's now the second building for Anderson Striping.
Right, I know,
So
yeah.
it's between, it's directly east of that building. And yeah, it's essentially a business that, it's, you drop your pet off there and they keep it for the weekend or whatever. And, so there's kennels, and I think there's an outside area for them to, do what dogs do or cats do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then El Portillo? And then
Yeah, so that was so the pet resort, I just told you where it was. So this one's directly east of that. It's a corner lot. And yeah, they've had their site plan approval for a while, I believe, and Alex can help me with this, but I believe they are a business that they're a reseller for like Western wear. Am I getting that right? Yeah, okay. So it's, it'll be I think it's a building that will be kind of warehouse, but then they'll also have a show, like a showroom or whatever, where you can purchase things. But it's also a warehouse where they'll actually dispatch merchandise out of, so, yeah. So we're
Okay.
seeing some activity in the business park for sure.
Yeah, okay. And then the gas station by Dollar Tree, when is that projected to be done, be finished? Do you know?
I'm not sure on their schedule. They just started construction, just started grading.
I know they
would-
recently,
I would say, generally speaking, if I had to guess, probably, 9-12 months, something like that.
about 9 months, okay.
9-12 months, yeah, something like, depends on how quickly they move.
Yeah, okay. I know the one in Salma, that Chevron went up quick.
Yeah,
It's almost
I mean,
done.
it could go, it's just basically, it's up to them.
Yeah,
It's,
okay.
yeah.
That's all the questions I have. Any questions from the public or comments from the public on this agenda item? Okay, thank you, Dave. Okay, moving on. Next, we have council reports and staff communications. 7.1, Community Service Commission.
We haven't met.
7.2, Public Safety Committee. I believe we meet in a couple of weeks. 7.3, Chamber of Commerce.
We have not met.
Thank you. 7.4, Economic Development.
Sorry, I misspoke, sorry. Economic Development, we have not met. Chamber of Commerce, I don't know if they did meet.
They meet next week.
Yeah, that's Laura, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. 7.5, Finance Committee.
Oh, we haven't met.
Haven't met, okay. 7.6, Planning Commission. We've not met since our last meeting. 7.7, South Kings GSA.
We did meet in Sanger. One of the key takeaways is there's a mitigation measure that's not necessarily a law, but it's something that the state is attempting to impose when it comes to wells going dry within a GSA. And the GSA would then, have to remedy that somehow, some way. And so there's a lot of back and forth going on with that because there's a lot of things that are wrapped around that instance of a well going dry, a casing collapse or, something of that nature isn't necessarily from subsidence or the water table necessarily going down. So the GSA and all the GSAs in the state of California will be faced with this if they take it to the next level, but there's still a ton of unknowns and it's kind of infancy stage, and so we're just going to keep an eye on that and watch it and keep up to date. They gave a very good report. Josh Rogers gave a very good report and was up to speed on that, and so as of right now, that's it, but it's something to watch going forward for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. 7.8, Downtown Business Improvement District. Laura's not here, so not sure if they met.
They met
Okay.
this week, but Laura's not here, so my
Okay,
apologies.
so we have to get update next meeting. Thanks, Alex. 7.9, Council of Governments. That's also Laura. 7.10, Council Member Reports. Anything? Dave?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Okay, the only thing I have is concerning Kingsburg High Wrestling.
Yep.
We, the state tournament, I missed the last meeting because of the state tournament down in Bakersfield, and Kingsburg won 2 state medals. Alec Van Beber, our 140-pounder, was 5th in the state. There's 40 boys make each weight class. Only eight bring home medals, and Alec took 5th. And our only girl on our team, Josie Benitez, 32 girls make each weight class, and she's a 100-pounder. She's a little girl. She took 6th in the state. And that's only Kingsburg's. Since 2013, it's only our 3rd and 4th medal. So it's hard, it's hard to win a state medal here in California. We're one of the only states that have one state tournament. there's only like 4 states that have one state tournament. All other states have Division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. California just has one tournament and that's it. So it's hard to win it. The cream of the crop goes to state tournament. So good for our wrestling team. It's good.
I did have one comment real
Okay.
fast. It's not, maybe this is or isn't the right place to say it, but on 5.5 on consent calendar, we had intern Chief John Banaski here with us today. So I wanted to officially welcome him to his new role here in the city and thank him for coming to council. He's here tonight. And so I appreciate you being here and stepping in this particular instance. So I wanted to officially welcome you, John.
Yeah, welcome, John. Thanks for being here. Moving on, 7-11, City Manager's Report.
Just a couple of quick items. Just to echo that, we will do a formal introduction of Mr. Banaski at a future council meeting to introduce him to the community. I did want to take the time, I've told him personally, but just publicly, thank Chief Perkins for the time that he provided here. It's, bittersweet. He gets to go on to another endeavor that, we wish him well on, but certainly appreciated his enthusiasm and leadership for leading that department the last roughly 5 years and getting them to the spot where they're at. I think they're, certainly in a better spot now than they were before he came. So just wanted to publicly thank him for that. Second item's a little more frustrating. Holly and I had a conversation today with our consultant regarding our housing element, which we've been working on for several months. We had initial direction from HCD, the state, from our initial reviewer. The initial reviewer's boss looked at it and has changed the formula as it relates to our housing numbers. And so now we have to find a location for another 150-ish units, which is going to prove relatively difficult with the type of vacant sites that we have available. So just a frustrating, from a process standpoint, has probably set us back a couple of months just based upon their initial guidance. And so just wanted to give an update on that. We're continuing to work through it to see what's available because it's relatively new information, but just a tough one today with regards to that. So that's all I have, but happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? For Alex? Okay, thank you, Alex. Next, future agenda items. We have none. So with that, I will adjourn tonight's city council meeting. Meeting adjourned. Yep. That was pretty quick. 1 hour, exactly 1 hour. It's exactly 7 o'clock.
What I did, so it's actually where I started, because there wasn't even at that time. So it was small, town was growing, we actually had the development out there across from where the old Kmart was, and Morgan sold that property off, and that was like the first